Max Holloway versus Calvin Kattar. So let's talk about this. Kattar's looked very good. In my opinion, he was one of the most improved fighters of 2020. He's part of this New England cartel that they are rising. Their head coach, Tyson Chartier, has done a great job with that team. Rob Font just had a big win in December. You know Max very well, and I know you spoke to him recently. You did a little video thing with Laura Sanko on ESPN Plus, but I know you're friends as well. Where's Max at? Like, because there's always been talk about him recently, like, oh, going up to fight. Where's he at? Is he healthy? Where's Max at? Give us the insight.
I spoke to Max the other day before he left the Fight Island. Just when you're friends with someone and you're tasked with calling their fight, obviously there's a fine line, because I need to be as fair as I'm going to be fair to Calvin Kattar. But as I lead into this thing, I wanted to wish Maxie a good luck and safe travels. And I spoke to him about where he was mentally. I spoke to him about how he felt, and dude feels great. Weight's under control. Remember before, that was like a big issue, was the weight. He's looked leaner in the last few months than I've ever seen him as he's going down to 145. He seems happy. His life is fully in order, and he is completely focused on the task that's in front of him. Because as you said, Calvin Kattar is a killer. I mean, this dude is an absolute savage. He's got unbelievable boxing. And, what people are missing is him and Zabit, right? For as good as Zabit Magomed Sharipov is, that fight goes longer. I'm not sure Calvin Kattar wouldn't have beaten him, because as that fight was going at third round, Kattar was putting it on him, walking him down, digging shots to the body, landing a lot of shots up top. This dude's special, man. He's a very special fighter, and he finds himself in that spot that every guy that's on the rise finds himself in, against a former champion, against a guy that has been to the mountaintop. Can you propel yourself through them into their position? Crazy thing about that is, though, most times when a guy's trying to do that, they're fighting a champion like I don't want to use Cruz, like Dominic Cruz for that matter. Dominic's in his mid-30s now, I think, right? Is Dom in his mid-30s yet? He's still very young, former champ. Now he's fighting against a young guy that's looking to break through. Anderson Silva, myself. You would get these young guys that fight older fighters. Max is still left, I don't think Max is 30 yet, right? So Kattar finds himself in a spot where he has a chance to propel himself, but he still has to go through a very young, hungry guy that really does have plenty of time to make another run at the title.
Yeah, Max just turned 29.
Yeah, he's a baby.
Which is
still
insane,
a baby,
right? He's been in the for 10 years. And it's easy to fall into the trap of the narrative that he's lost a couple in a row and all this stuff. But a lot of people, including myself, thought that he won the Volkanovski fight, the rematch in July, ever so closely, right? It was a super close fight, but I thought he won that fight. So I'm not buying into the narrative that this is a crossroads fight or do or die. This is not the Tony Ferguson fight of last month, right?
There were two that we spoke about recently where we're like, this is a crossroads. It's a crossroads.
Tony Ferguson, yeah.
And I think it might have been, was it Anderson before? Well, this might be it for Anderson if he can't. We were talking about these fighters being in these spots where they have to win or it's over. That's not Max Holloway. Max Holloway's 29 years old. The first fight, I remember the first fight with him and Volkanovski, I spoke about how close the fight was. And I was like, man, it's a close fight. Feels close, right? Even though Alex was landing a lot of those leg kicks. And everybody was like, oh, you're being biased. I wasn't. It was 48-47 across the board. It was a close fight. But that second fight was also very close, and these guys are so evenly matched. Let's see how Max fights someone else, because Kattar's going to be in his face and ready to go. And you got to love what they're building down there in New England. Those guys are – I love their swag. I love the way they support each other. They're all fantastic.
Yeah, it's nice to see one team in New England winning these days. Of course, the football team not doing very well, but I'm happy for those guys. They're a great bunch.
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. You cannot go, oh, well, they're not winning New England. Bro,
what?
They win all kinds of championships. The Celtics, they win everything. So don't do that, because then there's going to be a time where we have to go to Boston again. And we're going to walk through that stupid airport, and there's like 100 banners of championships from the Bruins and the Celtics and the Patriots. Don't do that, man. Don't give
right now. I'm just trying to say,
don't give these Boston dudes any other motivation to go win a whole bunch of championships again. I can't deal with it.
Do you agree with me that he has improved, or is he the same guy and we're just seeing him? He's more comfortable. Like the notion that Calvin Kattar is one of the most improved fighters in the UFC and had a great 2020, the win over Jeremy Stevens, the win over Dan Ige, first main event. Is that a big deal, or do you feel like he's always been this good and now we're just kind of noticing it?
No, I think he's improving, right? I saw him fight against he fought with me on UFC 220. He fought against landed a beautiful knockout against what's the other guy? I think the other guy is from Boston too.
Shane Burgos.
Shane Burgos, right? He knocked out Shane Burgos, and it was nice, right? But you could see that he was unfinished, right? He was good, but he was unfinished. I think in these last few performances, we've seen a more finished version of Calvin Kattar, right? Where it doesn't seem like there are many holes. He doesn't overextend on his punches anymore. He doesn't leave as many openings as he used to. I do believe he's gotten a ton better, and I believe that not only has he gotten better in terms of technical skills, but mentally, and the confidence that comes with you winning, having teammates that are having high level success. That confidence cannot be, it can't go unaccounted for. You know, you have to recognize that there's a confidence that comes with the team elevating together that makes it better and makes you a better fighter.
And it's a very important fight at 145. We presume Alex Volkanovski and Brian Ortega will fight for the belt later on this year. No date attached to that just yet. But hey, let's just say, I don't know, Ortega wins. There's a chance Holloway could get back into the title picture. I don't think he's getting a third crack at Volkanovski. But if Kattar wins, he could very well be next for the winner of that fight, regardless of who wins.
Well, you know what's crazy is like for Max Holloway, he needs Brian Ortega to win, right? Especially holding a victory over him before in the way that he did. But Calvin Kattar, if he beats Max Holloway, he can sit up there and go, I deserve a title shot right now. So I should be in a position to wait, even though he's lost to Zabit, right? Because when is Zabit fighting? Where, you know, we haven't seen Zabit for a long time. It's like you need the momentum that Kattar would carry after a victory over Holloway would be the most important win that him or Zabit would have had over the course of their careers, because Zabit's biggest win right now is Calvin Kattar. Calvin Kattar goes and beats a Max Holloway. I don't know how you sit up there and not start to look and think maybe this is the guy that should be next after Brian Ortega.
Yeah, Zabit had one of the more disappointing 2020s just because he didn't fight. And I think we were all thinking like by the end of 2020, he
might have the belt. A lot of people thought that by the end of 2020, Zabit would have the belt, right? He had looked so impressive, but injuries, schedules, fight falling through, so many different things played into him not getting the fight. Obviously, the pandemic, everything.
Condit Brown, like I said, is a fight that we've been talking about. Maybe it's happening towards the tail end of the career. We wanted them to fight, 4, 5, 6 years ago, but fun on paper, especially since, Condit looked so good in his last fight. Ponzinibbio coming back. To me, of all the main card fights, even Joaquin Buckley, the Ponzinibbio question mark is.
Let's see what he is.
Because this guy is like a true welterweight contender and everyone's forgotten about him. Of those other fights, which interests you the most? Like, which one are you most excited for?
Obviously, I want to see the main event. Obviously, I think that's
of the outside of
the other
event.
fights. Yeah, Ponzinibbio. Santiago works with us, right? He does a lot of commentary now, and I see him over the course of his preparation through the end of last year, and you could see him slimming out. You can see his confidence change, right? His swagger, he's always had swagger, right? Like he'd walk in cool. But as he started to get closer to a competition, he was a little more swag. He was a little more confident. You could see that the dude's ready to get back to work. He's got a tough fight in front of him. But you have to have that type of fight if you're who he was when he left. And I saw something yesterday where he's all mad about the rankings. He goes out and does what he's supposed to do this week, and he'll be right back where he left off.